Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Factional Fight Brothers. We're playing Wurm Online. My name's Brian. That's my brother, Adam. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. It has been a little bit of a whirlwind this last week with the news. If everybody has heard the news already that was posted, that Tich has apparently passed away from she passed away from cancer. For people that don't know who she is, she was a long-time Wurm player, and I would say a long-time Wurm developer and she has definitely left her mark in Wurm. And I mean, we're the Factional Fight Brothers. We just play Wurm Online at this point, and we love playing Wurm Online. We share what we do with you through these streams, and we talk about Wurm. So we thought, in honor of her, why don't we just do what we do best? We're going to talk about, maybe not all, but at least everything that we know that Tich has put into the game. We'll talk about how she has affected the game to us personally and to Wurm as a whole. So I think we're going to dedicate this stream to that. And while we do that, let's do what we do and let's play some Wurm.
Sounds like a plan. Now, one thing that I was thinking of was, like, you know, we never really knew Tich, you know, on a personal level. We've never talked to her. You know, we just sort of like knew of her. And there have been so many times where I completely thought to myself how much of a superstar dev that Tich was, because it seemed as though everything that she decided to take on in the game, in terms of like developing it, just came into the game and just, you know, fit the world so nicely.
It changed a piece of Wurm as we know it. And what I think is, I don't know, well, like, let's talk all about it. Let's talk about exactly how she affected all of our lives in Wurm Online and Wurm Unlimited. And while we're doing it, so we're back at Factional Fight Village after a week after going to the basically north of Xanadu to try to do the Halloween event. I haven't announced. Did you ever announce like how
we did?
How you did?
Well,
did we ever do that?
Here's the thing. When I've been creating these sort of short videos, I've been putting them out about once a week. Every week as I'm driving home from my work, or as I'm driving to work, I'll just turn on my phone camera and I'll just start blabbing away. I'm calling these the Factional Fight updates from Griffith's car, and I'm posting them exclusively to our Patreon.
All right, so some people know.
Some people have seen
okay,
it.
so
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say that for those of you who are interested in catching those episodes, you just go over to our Patreon. What I did this week with this week's one, I made it free for everybody. So you go over to the Patreon. There's a link below on our Twitch channel, and you can get access to that video. The ones that are going to come next, those ones are going to be Patreon only. All it takes is for you to subscribe to our Patreon, support our show for as little as you like. I think as little as $1, and you'll get continual access to those videos as they come out.
Awesome. Well, how did we do? At the end of the video, I believe you had received a witch's hat.
Yep.
And I had received nothing.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, like, right off the bat, I did not get a witch's hat. We continued to fight as much as we could that night and the next day and the following day. I did not receive one witch's hat.
Yeah.
You had a different experience than me.
Well, you got to remember, though, I think I must have played much more than you. And as well, I sort of started thinking about what Buddha was telling us online on our stream. He was telling us to go off road, and in my mind, for some reason, I was thinking steeps and deserts were the best hunting grounds for some reason. But
yeah,
there must have been some change to that, because now it seems like if you want to hunt, especially trolls and spiders and all sorts of other stuff, the best place to go is to wooded areas that are like completely natural, untouched. So that's what I did. I ran around.
We got a message, didn't we? We got a message saying, "Hey, I know that area. Maybe go this direction,
right,
and find this hunting ground from." We can find the name.
Yeah, it was Wolfmare.
Wolfmare. And that's what we both did. So you went there first, and then you like, yeah, just go this way. So I went there because I can't remember. I think I was at work. No, I was doing something. So you sent me a message. I went that direction as well. Spent all of Saturday there, and killed a lot.
Right.
I killed a lot, and what I did manage to get was 2 troll masks. So I did manage the goal of getting something. I got 0 witches hats, 0 Halloween masks, whatever you want to call them. What are they called?
Masks?
The bone mask. I got 0 bone masks, but I got 2 troll masks from last year's
funny,
Halloween.
Because apparently the troll masks were a lower drop rate. And same with the pumpkin shoulders. Yeah.
And I got 1 pumpkin shoulder.
Oh, okay.
So something like that.
All in all, I was really lucky. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
Okay, I was just asking what was your loot?
Right, I was really lucky. I hunted a lot, so much that I had gotten my mall imped up to 92 quality, and it is currently at 71. So yeah.
Mine got down to something similar. Mine's down to 70.7.
Right.
And it was fairly high.
So yeah, we hunted a lot. And I ended up getting 9 witches' hats after it was all said and done. Yeah.
And thank you, Rabbit Scab, for that. Yeah, I got a couple of, but wait, 9?
9, yeah. Yep, it was 9. So they just, there was a point where they just like started dropping like mad, like within like an hour I got 3 or something like that. And that wasn't even what made it so lucky. There was one of those 9 turned out to be a supreme one.
Oh my god.
Hey, Deathwind, thank you so much for the subscription. So yeah, I'm currently wearing it. I'll show it to you. Let's see if I can get the where is it? Character window and make it big. Although there's still a bug with the way the character window shows you. It's all dark and such. But yeah, got a Supreme Witch's hat.
Does it glow? It does glow.
It does glow, yeah.
Wow. So not only you got 9 witches hats.
Yeah.
What the heck are you going to do with 9?
I have no idea.
Are you possibly going to give me one? Huh?
Maybe I'll trade you one for one of those the
troll masks.
Troll masks.
Deal.
And Deathwind, that was a 3-month in a row subscription. Thank you so much, buddy. That's awesome. How's it going?
So, awesome, yeah.
I also got 3 of the new masks.
3 of the new masks?
Yeah.
Different ones or the same?
They're called skull masks. So I got 3 completely different ones. I got a gold, a silver, and I'm wearing the oleander.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do they look different? Do they have different looks?
Yeah, they look kind of different. So I'll equip the gold one looks like this.
When you turn on your light.
I know. It's like so weird.
Does light affect like if you turn on your lantern?
Whoops. What did I do? I just dropped my light. That's what I did. Let's try that one more time. So I'll probably have to fill it up. Tried to repair it, but instead I dropped it. Oh, okay, let's try that again. That did not change anything. That's so strange. This character window just doesn't...
You just needed the daylight.
Needed the daylight, and then I need to face the sun.
And who's quitting? And hey, Revnik. How you doing?
Hey, Revnik. How's it going? No one is quitting? Quitting? No, I don't think
Somebody's
so.
quitting? Who's quitting?
I don't think we're quitting.
Oh, the title. So...
Oh, no.
So long. Yeah. Thanks, Charles. The title is in relation to Tich.
Yes.
So we're gonna be spending all stream talking about Tich and the way that she impacted the game because of her sudden passing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, sudden to us at least.
Yes. I can see how it was taken to mean that we might be leaving, but that is not what is actually happening, no.
Yeah. So anyway, did we figure out did we figure out how to make it so I could see these masks on you?
Let's see.
Maybe I just have to... Where are you right now?
Oh, there we go. I can sort of, if I could just see it, like this is just wonky. You see how it's like...
If I just come to you, then I can just see it.
I just wish that the lighting wouldn't affect it so much.
Right. I mean, nothing's better than seeing it.
See, even when I get to the point where my character's in the light,
in real life Wurm.
Yeah, like the mask.
Right, there we go. Okay, so which one's this one?
This one's the gold one.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and then even in this light, the gold one is very dark. Even I'm pretty certain.
Do you want to pass me them, and I will wear them.
Oh, okay.
For the stream.
We can do that. Let's see here.
And possibly some other time.
So, trade with you.
I guess I should take off this troll mask. Maybe I should give you the troll mask here.
Sure. There's the oleander. There's the silver. And here's a witch's hat for you. I'll give you my 85 quality one.
Thank you.
There you go. And I will wear my troll mask.
I'll wear my witch's hat. And okay, so we're going for the gold. This is what gold looks like.
There, look how bright it looks there. Nice.
Look good?
Yep, that looks awesome.
Let's switch it out with silver. So this is what silver looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And let's switch out the silver for the oleander. Let's see what that looks like.
Okay. The oleander looks...
Out of all three, which one do you like the best?
I kind of like the oleander one the best just because it looks most like a bone.
Yeah, it almost looks like, I don't know, steel?
Yeah, or steel or something.
Steel or something?
It doesn't look like oleander. Like, I would imagine oleander to be... like wooden,
like leaves. Wooden.
Yeah.
Wooden.
So there was...
I'm gonna put my troll mask back on just in the spirit of Halloween for fun.
Yeah, there was one more.
Regrettably, back these.
Yeah, there was one more type.
There was only 4 types. I thought there was more than that.
No, there was 4 types.
So you got every single one except one.
Yeah.
So which one are you missing?
I think it's bone, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong.
No, just like a bone one?
I think so. You're missing a shoulder, though.
What?
You have only one shoulder pad on.
I feel like because I only had one shoulder pad.
Really?
I don't know where the other ones went.
I thought you had 2 to begin with. And...
I had a couple. Oh, found them.
Okay.
There you go. How do I look?
Yeah, you look complete now.
There you go.
Ooh, I have a mail waiting for me. Somebody sent me something.
Ooh.
Yep. So Rabbit Scat says the last one is bone. Yes. Oh, getting a little bit of lag there. Okay.
So, I mean, yeah, you can't complain about yours.
Velvet Sun, thank you so much. Velvet Sun sent the last skull mask. Let's see. Is it the bone one?
You have a complete set.
Yeah.
Yay.
Thank you, Velvet Sun. Oh wait, hold on. Is that
That's awesome.
It looks like it's not doesn't have a material. That's interesting.
It's just bone. Oh, I guess since bone's not a material. So you did it. That would mean that you successfully kind of completed the entire Halloween sort of event, where I feel like I haven't started yet since I technically got nothing. So I'm hoping that next year's Halloween does something very similar, where I can then actually attempt again to get my own witch's hat, to get my own masks at some point. And hello, everyone that's coming to the stream.
Joelle, from what I understand, is the new CR assistant. Am I getting that right? CR assistant? Community Relations, helping out Retro. If I'm not mistaken.
Awesome.
And also made a big... Again, I'm not sure if this is this you, Joelle, doing this? There is a new Facebook challenge event giveaway that Wurm is doing. I don't know if you saw this.
Oh,
but you go to the official Wurm Facebook page, and you share a story of a memory that you have in Wurm, and you have a chance of winning 1 month premium.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. Like on the Facebook page, or on like just comment on a post?
You comment on a post that was made on the Wurm's official Facebook page.
I think that we should do that. Is there a time limit on that?
Yep, there's a time limit. It's soon. I'll have to double check the date, but it's written in the post there.
That is one of the topics that I did want to bring up. Something similar to that. After we get through this whole thing, I want to do a couple things before we start on the whole discussion about Tich and how she affected the game. First, let's start drinking. I am freaking thirsty, so I'm gonna go first. I'm not gonna make the same mistake, since I do not have a good story or anything behind the beers of the week that we drink. I am drinking something from Cowbell Brewing Co.
Okay.
I think it is one of the craft beers.
I have never heard of this.
I know nothing about it, and I can hardly read it with my screens glaring at my face.
Okay.
George McNall is a company scout in World War I. He was awarded a military medal for conspicuous gallantry and devotion to duty in 1918. This is actually a pretty good drink, since it's also Remembrance Day here in Canada.
Yes.
So,
isn't it Remembrance Day everywhere, or is that just Canada?
I think it's North America.
Okay.
But correct me if I'm wrong. World. I don't know. McNall's Mission. It's called, craft beer that rings true. It's the honey brown ale version of McNall's Mission. So there it is. Okay. I'm gonna get going on seeing how it tastes.
And today I have. So I went out to a pub, and I found a couple beers by this brewery, Big Rig, and then I went to the store and found this guy, Release the Hounds. It's a black IPA. I've never heard of black IPA before. When you pour it, it comes out nice and black, though. Here, let's show you.
Like a Guinness?
It looks like a Guinness. Although without the... Like, it has a foam. It has a nice head, but it's, like, not as thick as a Guinness. But it looks like a Guinness in terms of its darkness. And yet it tastes like an IPA. So there it is. Oh my goodness, I am ruining it. But there it is. It is super black and dark. Let's get rid of some of this.
All right, so that brings us. Thank you for holding with us as we talk about our beers. I was waiting for that forever. The second thing that we are going to do is introduce what we're going to do in this stream. We're basically back in our deed. And what better thing to do? We've been talking about taking our whole decorating competition that we were doing. So why not do that? We're here back at a village. I don't know what kind of materials that we've had. I have gone through some of it. I saw some raw materials from the labyrinth that it looks like we brought back. And that's pretty much it. We didn't really have much waiting for us here. So I haven't really seen what you did. You did a bit last week. Did you do anything after that?
A little bit. So, yeah, Velvet Sun is giving a suggestion on what we could do. But really, I think the whole point of this is so that we can get better at decorating. Like we always felt like we were horrible at decorating, but we want to get better. So this is a motivation for us to get better.
It's like the opposite of what you're suggesting. We're going to decorate the rooms, and then you guys are going to judge what we decorating. Yeah, completely. That's what's going to happen, and that's why I don't want to look at what you're doing. I feel like a mistake would be to fixate on all the stuff that you're doing down at the bottom level and trying to like beat that somehow. I'll just do what I do and see how it ends up.
And the same with me. I don't want to like use what you're doing as any way of like I'm just going to do what I do. And I did spend a little bit of time down there, just like walking up and down the hallway that I was thinking of making, and just trying to envision exactly what I want it to look like. This is sort of like the process that I go through with designing anyway. This is like it's how I designed the whole Factional Fight Village too. I sort of just like put a raw layout and then just walk up and down it, trying to envision what it is going to look like. So I did that.
Nice.
Where are you? Did you go down yet?
I went down. So for people that don't know or that haven't really been following the last, let's say, 3 to 4 weeks, we have tasked ourselves to take one level of this below ground house that we've made a few years ago. There's 4 levels in total. I took one. Adam took the bottom level. I took the second to the top level. And we're going to build the walls, decorate the rooms as much as we can. I have just started. Thanks again to everybody that has sent me a few things. I did finally place it into the house. I built the statue of Libella.
Nice.
Bird cages. And a few more things. But I don't know exactly where I'm going to put them. I've got some ideas. But for now, I got to build the walls.
So let's take a look at what you've done. Now, I'm really struggling with trying to figure out how I'm going to get this type of wall types that I want. I don't know if you know what I mean. Like, currently, here, I'm going to come and just like look at what you've done so far. But currently, everything is stone. Right? Like, we did the whole thing out of stone. Then I thought, I want kind of some of these walls to be whatever, like marble or sandstone or pottery or whatever. But I'm sort of like struggling with the fact that then you walk into a room and half the room is going to be stone and the other half is going to be pottery, let's say.
Yeah, you'd have to change the walls.
Are you contemplating changing the walls? Are you thinking of doing that?
I am not contemplating changing the walls. I'm using them to my advantage.
What do you mean by that?
I'm just going to include them in the ambiance of the room. And
that is to say, you're keeping them stone.
I'm keeping them stone. Yes. Permo Man, thank you for coming onto our stream, saying your little bit. Thank you very much. And wow. Congrats to that.
Wow, that is. You're getting there.
Digging 99.99999. Did I miss a line?
Is it one more tick? So like once that 2 becomes a 5, that's it? My curiosity.
It's Veterans Day in the U.S. There you go.
That's what
it's some kind of day, but
yeah,
Canada was mainly the Remembrance Day here.
Right.
Okay, so this is what we're going to be doing. I've made a bunch of walls, or I made a bunch of planks to build my walls, and I'm sure you've done something similar. So
I haven't really.
That is what we'll be doing.
Yeah, I made a whole bunch of planks just to make the floor openings. Pretty much, that's what my plan is to do right now.
I've decided I'm not going to think about it so much like I did with the labyrinth. I'm not going to build an elaborate labyrinth. That's not the goal, right? The goal is to decorate the room, not so much think about what the rooms, are going to look like.
Also, making them functional.
The layout-wise.
Yeah, making them functional is another thing that I'm really interested in making sure of.
Just know there won't be a making them functional, I don't know, rating when judging it. But yeah, if that's what you want to do, that's what you do. Okay, I'm going to start on that. And yeah, again, for people that have heard the news of Tich's passing, it was fairly shocking, I think, to us. Because, again, we did not know her personally. A lot of people did. She apparently played the game since almost the beginning. And I wish I did know her. I do.
There was a couple times where I felt the urge to reach out to her and talk to her. I just never did. I even wanted her to come on the show once. Again, just sort of never got around to that. And then, yeah, now...
I wouldn't mind hearing if anybody actually had any stories in the stream about her. I wouldn't mind hearing them. Just so I could get a better understanding of how she interacted with the community and that sort of thing. All we know about her is how she affected the game as a developer.
Right.
And that's solely what we're going to talk about, and how that affects our lives in Wurm and affects everybody's, I would assume. So there's no particular order. Retrograde did make a post, and he talked a little bit about the things that she contributed to the game as a developer. And a lot of them that I knew already. Some of them I didn't necessarily realize was her. But now, looking back, of course she was the widening the mine entrances,
right.
The person that did that. So let's go. Let's get to it. No particular. I'm just going to take the order that Retro did on this forum post. So, and this was almost my first time that I heard about Tich. Yeah, hashtag memories. Let's do that.
Hey, Retrograde, how's it going? Once I suggested an idea to Tich, and her reply was no, and a few more vulgar words.
Hashtag memory. Yeah. So, the first thing here was bridges. So here's my take on bridges. When I started the game, bridges was already announced.
Years before.
It was like years before. Every time something was brought up, about what she had in the game. They're like, oh, no, bridges are coming. They were announced. They were announced in 2008, 2007. Like no, Rolf announced them. Like they're coming. And then it's like, well, we started in 2012. Like, are you sure they're? Are you sure they're like? And at that time, we had just started. We were new, fresh. Everything was new. We're like, yeah, of course, bridges are coming. People say that. People are saying that, and they never came. So we played for a year, and they didn't come. We got multi-story housing.
Yeah.
We got multi-story housing, and we got stairs. And I thought, okay, this is the time. Like, we're gonna get bridges because stairs are basically like bridges. At the time, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking that they would make bridges similar to the way that they would make stairs.
Yeah, in that there's like a quote on the loading screen. I don't know if you've seen this loading screen quote, Brian. It's like a quote from Rolf, and it just says, "Bridges will be in by Christmas," as Retrograde says. I don't know how true that is. It would be really funny if he actually did say that at one point. And it's like Rolf 2008 or something like that.
Yeah, it was like really, really long time ago. Now, a decade ago.
Back then, bridges, like, people made bridges, quote unquote bridges, but these were land bridges, like terraforming just like a little.
That's what I think of when people say bridges.
Right.
And I think of it less now. But that's what it was. Mm-hmm. I heard bridges, and it's like the land bridges. You would have to raise land, and then we build lots of deeds like that.
Yep.
I would have built Autumn Twilight completely different if we had bridges in the game. It would have been a great deed to do that. Yeah. And of course, like stairs, I planned our castle with stairs in mind, and that never, unfortunately, ended up getting to the game. Right. But I basically, I think, gave up on bridges at a certain point.
Right. I remember you were waiting out for it. Like, you had all these places in the castle, like, ready for the bridges and ready for stairs. And you just kept waiting and waiting and waiting, and eventually it was just like, okay, I guess it's not coming.
Let's change our plans. And I basically completely changed what all the puzzles that were in that castle. And it worked out. It was great. Like it ended up being like an amazing castle, an amazing event. And it wasn't until, a year later, maybe more, that bridges finally came into the game. It was announced, the first time it was announced and they showed it was groundbreaking for, I think, longtime Wurm players. It's like, all of a sudden you can do what?
Yeah.
You could... and they kept... And it wasn't just like we as players at that point in our Wurm career would have accepted a half-assed version of bridges.
Yeah.
We'd be like, yeah, like from this dirt to that, like this many tiles wide, like, yeah, sure, like if it was 5 tiles wide, like whatever, we would have accepted it.
Yeah.
But like, I just remember the announcement kept coming out like, okay, you could do this. You could make it this long. Look at this giant bridge, and look how high this is.
You can make it arched. You can make it flat. You can make it arched 3 tiles wide.
Like, it just kept blowing my mind. There was a picture that I think Retrograde posted.
Hey, Reganation.
Hey, Reganation. Thanks for the subscribe.
Yeah, thanks for the sub.
Thanks for the sub.
That's for 3 months in a row. Awesome.
Yeah, I think, I can't remember. I think it was Retro. Somebody posted a picture, and it had a house that was different, or maybe different houses that were different heights, and bridges going to each of the houses, towers, at different levels. And that like blew my mind.
All right, take care, Permo Man. We know it's late for those of you in Europe.
Yeah. You always watch it like everybody else right now on YouTube.
Yeah, we'll put it up. We'll put this up on YouTube afterwards.
So at that point, even though we would have accepted any kind of bridge, anything, like the way that stairs are put in, I would have accepted that. One type of bridge, whatever, rope, whatever you want to call it. And that's the bridge. There, now we have bridges. But the depth and the amount of thought that went into it, and then once it was in the game, the way that you create bridges, the items you have to create, the fact that you have to have 2 players, it was so well thought out. To me, and then I found out, okay, there's somebody named Tich on it doing this.
Yeah, I really think that was the first time we ever heard Tich's name, to be honest.
And it kind of put her name synonymous with, I don't know,
really well thought out systems. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh, if she's on it, then we know it's going to be this big, elaborate, well thought out system that deserves to be in Wurm. You know, look at the difference between bridges and stairs.
Not knocking stairs at all, because stairs works out just fine.
How many different material types of stairs do we have?
Right. Yeah. I think we have one. Well, I mean, like, to be fair, there's like the stone stairs.
Okay, later stairs got like, you know, more elaborate. You got the wide, the left, the right, center, the spiral, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So they eventually they come.
Yeah. But you're right. They all look like wood. Even the stone ones look like wood. And I think the only thing that's changed is like the floor, that the stone, like, you know, if you make a slate staircase, it's like a wooden staircase that leads up to a slate floor. Ah, that's interesting.
Room to add more. There you go.
Okay.
So you have more materials. Oh, God, I can talk all about the different kinds of stairs that I want. The half stairs. We need like pedestals, little stages of like stone. How about the stone round stairs to make it like a castle? Okay. I'm sure if anybody ever gets back on it, people, you don't need our suggestions. Anyway, what were your thoughts on bridges? It came into the game and blew our minds. It changed the way that we view the world of Wurm.
What was possible to be made now just opened up into something, you know, just like tons of new things you can make now with bridges. At least that's how I felt. Yeah.
So, and more importantly, it basically made it so Tich's name was ingrained in our heads as, like, you know, somebody that you want to be developing something that you love.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. And then I think the next time that I heard her name was for the permission system.
Right.
What can you tell me about that whole thing? Do you have any stories about the permission system?
I have definitely stories from before the permission system came in. We had many issues with either bugs or whatever they were, but we got lots of stuff stolen from us, and part of it might have been our fault. Like, we just didn't understand the systems and mechanics to how to protect ourselves fully. Like, one example was, while we were building the labyrinth, I had a wagon full of horses, and I think for some reason I left them off deed. I can't remember, but I felt like the wagon would have been safe, but it wasn't, because I don't think it was locked, even though I had thought it was locked. It was totally my mistake. But somebody was able to then unhitch all the horses and kill them and steal all the horse gear. Now, there was 4 horses, and they all had really high gear. So all the, I guess, 12 horseshoes and 4 saddles were taken from us.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a whole ordeal. And even before that, we had issues with people actually taking stuff that was on our deed, even though it was just like some weird thing about the permissions.
It was on the deed, but because it was inside of something, like, I don't know if it was carts or...
It was in a forge.
Something.
And they somehow were able to get through the walls. I don't know.
Yeah.
It was weird. Anyway, we felt like there needed to be something done about the permission system before. There was also many times we were requesting certain things, such as, we wanted each door to have its own ability to lock and unlock. Do you remember when that wasn't able? Like, you either locked the entire house or you unlocked the entire house. There was no, like, halfway. But we envisioned like the labyrinth or the
inns, right?
For the inns, for the castle. We wanted, like,
for the labyrinths.
For the labyrinths, yeah, that was mainly our reason. We wanted, like, the ability for some doors to be able to be locked and other doors not to be. But at the time it was just sort of like on our wish list. But yeah.
Well, as a newbie, I stole stuff all the time. One time, I tried to take something while the guy was standing there, and he called me out.
Then you felt guilty.
That's when you felt guilty, when you're trying to steal from someone who was standing right in front of you. Did you manage to steal it, though?
And the Zorbic, I missed that comment. Congratulations on a new baby coming soon.
Oh, yeah. Congrats. And, I mean, even though it sucks that you won't have any time to help out with the whole fishing code.
Or play Wurm anymore, for that matter.
You just gotta eventually find the balance there in life.
Yeah.
It was a couple of bricks. Hey, when I first started, I walked into a cave and felt really guilty for picking up a silver ore. Because I thought it was I'm like, silver? Oh my god. I didn't really understand whether silver was like the silver that you would use to pay for stuff. So I thought you could, like, create your own money or something.
Yeah.
So I picked it up, instantly put me overweight, and I was like looking for anybody around, seeing if I picked it up, and started, like, slowly crawling away from the mine as fast as I could. Eventually, I'm like, I'm not moving at all, and I ended up tossing it.
And then there was that rowboat that we obtained.
Yeah.
This was like in our 3rd day playing ever. We had no idea what was going on, really. But we just
ended up.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we hopped into a rowboat that was sitting on someone's deed at the time. It wasn't locked because I guess boats normally don't get locked.
You need
at that time
to make a lock. So I remember there was like a whole bunch of boats. It looked like a boat maker, and many of them were locked, but this rowboat wasn't. And we were new, and we needed a way to get around the server. We were looking for open land on the water, like every newbie does. And so we ended up
we found the rowboat. We got in, and we sailed around the whole server. So I think that rowboat got pretty good use.
Mm-hmm. But nonetheless, all because the permission system wasn't sort of like, solid enough. You were able to steal stuff, and it caused lots of griefing issues. And I know the GMs had to deal with this on a regular basis. And then Tich overhauled the whole thing. And I'm not sure if there were other devs like working on it, but Tich sort of got a lot of the credit for the new permission system. And it was just so thoroughly thought out.
It basically fixed all the problems that we just talked about and more.
Yeah. Pretty much fixed everything.
Which is crazy. And then we hear right after that that she is working on making the cooking system better.
Mm-hmm.
I was not a cook. And even I knew that something had to be done. Because the way that the cooking system was like you would cook a few stews, whatever, and then you would get onto meals all like fairly shortly in to your cooking career. And that's it. That was like, I mean, there's more stuff, but that's virtually all you had to do.
Like I look back,
create meals forever.
I look back to our like cooking tutorial, and it was like so basic, I think we had.
How did you feel? Because you were a big cook.
I wasn't that.
You did it
big of a cook. I mean, I only did it to get soul depth up on my priest, and this was back before we thought soul depth actually did something.
Yeah. So you, memories. Yep. # memories. Soul depth. So you got it up to like 90 something, like 96, 97.
What, soul depth or cooking?
No, like cooking, like hot food cooking.
Hot food cooking is like 99.9.
It's like you didn't just do a little bit of it.
No. Yeah. I went to the end.
You had an entire cooking station.
Yeah. And back then it was like literally a vegetable and a meat, and that was pretty much the top end. Just a vegetable and a meat, and you would make these top end meals that were like 90 plus quality.
So you would have more to say. Like, how did you feel when you heard about the cooking update? Did you have any memories about it?
I mean, I knew that there had to be something done because the progression for cooking was so empty. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. As a new player, you made like casseroles or stew or whatever, and then it was not that long before you're making meals, and meals were basically the end, and you just kept making meals to the end. So and there was so much potential for what it could be, and yet it just wasn't. So yeah. Although when I heard that it was getting overhauled, I didn't really think about what it, it was one of those skills that I leveled up without really wanting that skill. Like I didn't level up cooking for cooking. I leveled it up specifically so that I would have soul depth. And it was just a good, nice byproduct to be able to make high quality meals. But yeah, as we were like learning about what the system was going to be, it became really clear that it was going to completely change the game. Not only in cooking, but in all sorts of other ways.
And I think, okay, so cooking finally gets overhauled. They introduce into the game. And I'm pretty sure it solidified in me, in all of us, just how thorough and well thought out and everything that she does Here's Buddha. Hey, Tich had that cooking system planned out thoroughly since 2008 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
There's an old forum post somewhere with the initial idea suggestion. Wow. And if that's true, I mean, the fact that she was able to, think out this whole cooking system and then go ahead and implement it is kind of mind-boggling.
Mm-hmm.
Just the depth of the cooking system is going to make us definitely have to do at least one episode about it.
I know
we've been planning.
We keep saying it, and we definitely want to spend some time with the cooking, just to show exactly what we know. But really, like, it's such a huge system that I still would call myself a newbie at cooking. Like, I have
which is awesome.
I have the skill, right? Like, my hot food cooking is really, really high, but the new cooking system almost made it so that just having hot food cooking is not enough. You know what I mean? Like, you need all the side cooking skills, like, for example, dairy, food making, and like just all the other ones like that I have no skill in whatsoever. Just in case you guys are curious, I'm in the middle of trying to switch deeds.
What?
Yeah, I'm gonna transfer deeds with my priest, awesome. So that I can actually do some bashing.
Oh, that's funny. So the cooking system gets introduced. It comes along like a lot of stuff. Like bees are all of a sudden in Wurm,
right?
And you can collect honey and
beeswax.
Yeah, beeswax. Basically, it changes the game again. It affects all of us. I no longer have any meals anywhere. And it's all about the different kinds of foods or the different kinds of buffs that you can get. I know that you went ahead and you started creating some of these items, some of these, I don't know, I don't know if you were trying to get specific buffs when you were creating the food items that you did for us, the pizzas and all that stuff.
Yeah, I was definitely. I worked on trying to figure out how to get the.
It's like it introduced calories, carbs, fats, and proteins.
Yeah.
It introduced different ways that they affect our nutrition, food, and water levels, and it changed the way that we kind of look at food in general and what is capable of keeping. Remember back in the day, we would think, just keep that meal inside of a barrel or something inside of your cart.
Right.
Now we never say that. Here's Zenomir. I came back to Wurm just recently after a few years hiatus, and with the new cooking system in, I realized I had to make a farm of all the food. 10 tiles each of all the plantables, and then working on 30 pots for all the herbs, and it's crazy the time to maintain and harvest, and all per day now, but also really exciting to see what I can do in the next few weeks from now. Yeah. It's crazy if you're going to do all of it just yourself.
It has made me feel like I want to spend time doing it. I have spent quite a bit of time farming. The problem with farming, though, for me anyway, is I find it really hard to make it on time for my crops. Right? There's such a it's a fine line. Like, you have about 24-hour window where you have to harvest your crops, and if you miss that window, all your crops die. And I find it really hard to make sure that I get on in that time window. It's more often that the crops die than I actually get anything from it. I'm having an issue here trading the settlements. I mean, both of us.
You guys are both deed owners?
Both of us are deed owners. Both of us are premium.
Can you do that?
I feel like that's how I did it in the first place. Oh, wait. No, that's not true. That's not true.
You might have to trade to... you need a third.
I need a third player.
Yeah.
Huh. Do I have to log on a third client? Is that what I have to do?
Well, as you do that, here's one I did not realize was Tich. And that was basically the creation of man caves.
What do you mean?
But really, it was being able to have buildings inside of caves.
Yes.
Yeah, basically buildings inside of caves.
Buildings inside of caves was a huge... That was a huge... big deal.
One of the first thing that I wanted to do was create a man. One of the first experiences that we had, I don't think I've ever talked about this, was we went to Willow Pond.
Okay.
And we decided to set up there. But before we decided to build our first labyrinth there was a small deed that was sitting there. That was kind of wrong. I think it had one tiny house. At the time, we thought it was like so cool. It was like one tiny house with like a little farm. It was not deeded. And there was a cave underneath the house. And if you went under into the cave, it had, I just remember one sign, the first sign right when you enter, it said man cave. And you go in there and there was like some stuff like on the ground, but nothing really like a man cave. But it was so cool, the fact that you could do that. You could go under your deed and you could create a sign that says man cave. And it made me always want one.
Okay.
We did go to Deliverance and see Battle Pants's man cave. That was amazing. So imagine just that one update that Tich did affected them so greatly that now their entire deed is underground.
Right.
You couldn't do that before at all.
Yeah. You
can have giant dwarven cities like Figs and Battle Pants.
I remember that was one of the things that was on my wish list. Like when we did sort of like those things where we said, what is your number one thing that you would like added to the... I remember the thing that I said was 3D caves, but really what I meant was exactly what caves are now, if you know what I mean.
What did I say for that? I don't remember now.
Buildings really opened up the ability to... You know what it was? And I wonder if Tich worked on this too. It was once they added bridges to underground. Like the buildings came in,
underground
bridges happened like not long after that. I think that pretty much did it and fixed everything up so that I was able to do what I wanted it to do.
Yeah, bridges underground, buildings underground. I think it all basically works together to make the perfect system that we have right now in Wurm. Do you feel that you would still want 3D mines?
No, I don't think so. I think the way that it is pretty much allows me to do everything that I could possibly imagine doing in that game, like in the mine. So yeah, the way it is, that's the way I think it doesn't need to be any different than that.
And I feel like Tich was a part of the whole, like, she was part of the, like, reinforcing inside of mines. I'm not sure if she was a part of paving underground, but it's all pretty much the same sort of thing down there, with the whole reinforcing floors and walls, and then now all of a sudden you have the wall types. Yeah, so yeah, that basically completely changed. What else did she do? She did do the Wagoneer. Thank you, Assorbate.
Yeah.
And we tested it out in an episode once. And we've used it so much. I think the Wagoneer alone allowed us to get the labyrinth done quicker.
Absolutely.
And then allowed us to pack up quicker.
Absolutely. We sent so much stuff from the labyrinth back to here through the Wagoneer system. It's unreal.
I love this. What? I was unaware of paving underground. Yeah, it is. It is awesome.
Yeah.
You can pave anything on the ground. You can pave the walls.
Yep.
It looks awesome now.
Yeah,
you can make your man cave look amazing, or woman cave.
Yeah. You don't need a building. You can pave the walls. You can pave the floors. Can you do the ceilings as well?
I don't think you can pave ceilings, but
okay.
I don't know. You can definitely. You clad the walls. There you go.
Okay.
You make them look beautiful. Let's say that.
Yeah. And then you add that to the fact that you can make buildings underground now, and it's like caves are just anything that you possibly want. Yeah, you can do.
So the Wagoneers. Just the fact that our labyrinth was sort of in the middle of land made it so. Remember the days where you would try to hire someone to deliver lots of materials?
Yeah.
And if you were not on the water,
especially on Xanadu.
Yeah, or anyway, even Delhi, you were not on the water, you're not going to get delivered.
Right.
Like, you're just not for the amount that we needed. And then the Wagoneers came, and, if we wanted, how much did we want? 5,000 or 10,000 of this or that bricks.
Right.
We were able to get it.
Yep.
We were able to go buy it, and then the labyrinth was able to be made. We were able to send it off back to Factional Fight Village like in no time. And labyrinth opens and like sooner, and we're able to do the event, and people are able to get their rewards and all that stuff. The Wagoneer system was almost one of the many reasons that made it so that we could get it open so much sooner, because no one was willing to deliver so many mats before the Wagoneer system. I think we struggled. Yeah. We had to do it ourselves. If we wanted to order so much, we would basically order to like the Factional Fight Village or someplace close to water, and then bring it up ourselves. And I remember making numerous trips down to our boat near the closest spot that we could get to the labyrinth, and we'd have to walk back and forth from the boat with our wagons to pick up the materials.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we've done a lot of that in our time, though. I remember way back in the day when this was before crates, and we were delivering dirt to the top of a mountain using large carts and crates. And at the time, I guess you can put 7 rafts in a cart, and each of those rafts can hold how many dirt? Maybe 40?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how much.
It's okay.
I mean, that's how we started Wurm. That's how I remember. Now it's like, Like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, now you can just click a button and 20 crates get sent off. Yeah.
But yeah, it helped our project out specifically. And I'm sure it could help a lot of people.
Why follow Najo? That's a really good question. Why? I'm following Najo because I needed to make an altar for my priest. And this is because priests can't make altars. And so I just switched to Najo just so I can make an altar.
What?
They saw that I tried to destroy this wall and it said Najo would not allow it. So they asked, why follow Najo? Magradon is the only true god. But that's the reason. True. You can make a metal altar on a priest.
Dirt walls with small carts.
Dirt walls with small carts. Yeah.
You can. I wouldn't, but yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can. True. You can.
Maybe back in the day.
I'm curious to know. I'm breaking outer walls here. Is that going to cause any problems for you?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We'll find out. Just don't break too many.
Well, the question is, do I break one at a time and just rebuild it one at a time, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, I don't. No idea.
You know what I would like to see? I'm not sure how possible this is, but doors, like single doors that aren't in the center of the tile. Do you know what I mean? This is completely off topic.
Yeah.
But single doors that are off to the side of a tile, of a wall. I'd like to see that.
That'd be interesting. I mean, I've been forever asking for 2 tile high walls.
I'm crazy.
Sorry, doors.
2 tile
high doors.
Okay.
/ archways.
Now with the new archways, how they are, can you do that?
Why not?
I don't know. I haven't really messed around too much with the new archways. Since the archways came in, we haven't really built anything aside from the labyrinth, which didn't really.
I've used them, the T and then the long arch.
Yeah.
At the time when they introduced it, I thought, this is the time. This is when they're gonna make 2 tile high arches, and that didn't happen.
But can't you? I mean, I guess it will have the T below.
No, there's no 2 tile high. I mean, you can create it like you always could, but there's nothing on the bottom level that would allow you to make a connected 2 tile high arch.
Hey, Alorn, thanks for the sub.
Make a big org. Thank you so much for the sub.
That's 2 months in a row. Awesome.
But I don't know. Maybe one day. And then you could create 2 tile high. Like I was really wanting like really high gated archway doors. Like a castle.
I've seen people make those, portcullis gates, and it makes it look like it's a really tall.
It makes it look like
yeah,
actually being tall
without it actually being tall. Yeah. I don't know if yeah.
We'll just say one day we'll get there. So a couple other things that are specifically listed here, some of the smaller yet kind of not so small things that Tich did. Did you know she was at the forefront of adding all of the new additional wall types / staircases?
I did not know that.
When stairs were introduced, and it does seem like something of a Tich thing, we had the stair. Like, you could create stairs. I mean, my stair story was this. We got multi-story housing back in 2012. The end of 2012, we got multi-story, and I thought, we did some videos, I believe. We built up a house that really didn't deserve to be built up just because we wanted to showcase it. We got the new floors. Multi-story also brought in the roofs. Before that, you just had to build the walls, and then once the walls were finished, the roof just automatically appeared.
Right.
And then there was no floors. We got all of that, and we got an item called staircase.
Right.
And I remember thinking, what is this? This is interesting.
And so I
built one, and it was a question mark bag, one of those old question mark bags that you put on the ground, and you couldn't. I can't remember if you can pick it up. You could like push it, and I'm like, wow, staircases are coming soon. And I kind of remember seeing an image somewhere that was posted by one of the devs, and I can't remember which one at the time, back in 2012, of a staircase. I kind of remember it being stone, made out of stone. Thinking, that's awesome. Like, we're going to get stone staircases, and I can already build one. But it comes out as a question mark.
Yep.
And that was it.
Yep.
I don't remember hearing about it at all.
And that was in 2012, I think.
That was in 2012.
Yeah.
And that was my experiences with staircases. My first ever one. And then 2 years later, I think it was 2 years later, 2014, sometime in 2014, we finally get some staircases. And I don't know, I can't remember exactly the timing, but all of a sudden we were able to get different size staircases, the winding staircases. Like, it was quite a lot of different kind of staircases that were quite nice and allowed me. See, at that point, Autumn Twilight was long gone. Not long gone. It was almost long gone. Winter's Night was... I don't even know if we had staircases at Winter's Night. Do you remember?
Which Winter's Night are we talking about?
The last one.
The one at Xanadu. I don't
remember playing... I think maybe we did. Did we?
Yeah.
Even if we did, I don't remember playing a big role. Like, you see how big of a role that staircase.
No, there were staircases there.
Like that.
Yeah, there were staircases. You're right, though. I didn't.
It was until.
You know what I think Linton. It was? It was that at Winter's Night, staircases had come out, but after I had built a whole bunch of buildings. And then I never really built another building once staircases came out on that deed. Yeah.
It wasn't until Linton that staircases became a big deal. Yeah, early Xanadu did not have stairs at all.
Right.
Yeah, or bridges. It wasn't until the Labyrinth we were able to get a few staircases and some bridges. And then Linton.
Right, when we made Linton, yeah.
And specifically, we were in the middle of building the first half of the labyrinth when Bridges came out.
Right.
Because that's when I kind of altered the plans of the labyrinth
in order to incorporate some bridges.
Yeah, because it was, bridge season pretty much.
Yeah,
You're able to finally build them. So yeah, I can definitely see how she got a hold of stairs, and finally, after a number of years after I built my first bag staircase, we were finally able to see what a staircase would actually look like in the game. And she was part of all the new different paving styles. I'm assuming that includes all of the ones that we can do, I guess now. Was that the change when we went from we got introduced the new like sandstone stair paving and all that stuff?
Yeah,
I assume she was a part of that.
I'm guessing this is all the paving of the roads with the different types.
It was almost like it almost group up all of this in one, like all the different wall types. So imagine what the world was like before we got any new materials to build houses. We talk all about the fact that we're free to build whatever we want, any size house. And then we bragged about how we could build we could build kind of like in blocks, and we can go up multi-story. We can build a high house, any size that we want, pretty much up to your level. But you could really only build 2 styles,
right?
Either wood or stone.
They did add timber at some point before all the new.
They did add timber at some point, and stone did go through a few revisions since we've joined. But it was very limiting. And then it was announced, we're going to give you some extra different types. Like you already have, like these different kinds of materials in the game. We're going to add more. And we're going to allow you to take those materials and make them into a wall. And it wasn't like, again, we've been creating stone houses and wood houses for years, and we would have not complained if it was like, here's 1 more wall type, here's 2 more wall types. And she gave us how many?
Was it 4 or 5? Pottery, sandstone, rendered,
marble,
right? Marble and slate. Are we missing one? To power the winch.
We need a medieval type lift system.
Right.
I mean, that goes with like all the stuff that I've been saying that we need. That kind of that action system. You said it was similar to Minecraft Redstone or something, like something where you'd flip a switch and then something would happen.
Right.
And don't forget round stone.
Rounded stone. So that's a 6th. We did say sandstone.
Did we say sandstone? I'm pretty sure we said sandstone. Round stone. Was there another kind of stone?
Marble, yeah. So 6.
I don't know.
6 wall types.
It was like crazy. And then include all of that in fencing.
Yeah, and then all the bridges got them.
All the bridges.
And then they added paving to all the bridges as well as the ground.
So
yeah.
I almost feel like that is one giant update that was inside of her head that came out over time. It's like, because now that we look back at it and we see what was updated, it makes so much sense. Right?
Hey, Leech
It makes
Life.
so much sense. Hey. That first, bridges come out, and then you see all these new types of materials that you can create houses for, and then all of a sudden fencing comes out with the exact same type. The bridges get the exact same type. Paving. All of a sudden you can pave the ground with the exact same type of stuff.
Hey Artemis, thanks for the follow.
Hey.
And Leech Life 12 is like, that name sounds so familiar. Would you happen to be Leech?
Yeah, in the end.
Dreek.
And just like Xanamir said, we love everything that she had done. She made a huge impact in every player's lives when it comes to Wurm on a daily basis of playing this game. And the last thing that I think was announced was that she was working on revamping the fishing system. And it was said that she loved fishing a lot. I love the act of fishing.
She was, in fact, the first person to hit 100 fishing.
She was the first person to hit 100 fishing, which I did not know. And I never... I love fishing in other games a lot. There were some games that just did fishing so well. Wurm, to me, was not one of those games. I loved that fishing was in the game, and I loved that you could do it, and there was a few different cool quirks to it. Sail out. Different spots have better fishing spots than other places. It wasn't an integral part of my Wurm life. My favorite fishing skill, my favorite game that had fishing was Vanguard by a lot.
I never really got into Vanguard's fishing system.
They had an update at some point where they did a fishing update. And think of it, it was kind of like a reactionary system where you would start your fishing and then you would react to the pull of the fish with your fishing rod. So if the fish was pulled one way, then the system would tell you, press to the left to pull your fishing rod that way. And you'd keep up that until, I can't remember, something happens, fish gets tired or something, and then you can finally reel it in.
Oh, okay. Now, one thing that in this game that fish didn't really hold that much value. Like, you could use fish to feed yourself, and I remember doing that early on in our Wurm career.
Because they were so fat and easy to get.
Right. Like, you didn't have to kill anything. But after you can kill stuff, then it almost felt like there was no need to fish anymore. So it makes me curious to know if this new fishing system is going to have that sort of Tich's touch to it, where it integrates to many aspects of the game.
Well, what we don't know is how far along she was. Now, what we do know is, okay, she didn't have time to finish it, which is, I don't know, not the greatest thing. But I feel like knowing the type of person that she is, right? She seemed like a type of person that really thought out systems really well ahead of time, and really probably wanted so much more change than she could possibly ever do.
Right.
She could probably spend the rest of her, like, forever, decades, updating this game and never feel like she was done.
Finished, yeah.
Like, if that makes any sense. But in saying that, she's the type of player that would have mapped it out. So I'm sure it is far along. That's good to hear. What I was going to say is I'm fairly certain, Buddha kind of just confirmed it, that there were already specific plans that she would have mapped out for it. I'd love to know what kind of system it is. Knowing Tich and the what she would have, the types of systems that she creates, the in-depth systems that she creates, and it's a genuine Tich system, not simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's basically, it's going to be this in-depth fishing system that will introduce some new stuff. I don't know. Maybe the fishing rods will be different. Fishing lures, you get introduced, like it'll just make it fun to actually fish. I would love to be able to go out there and actually have fun fishing, because I do really enjoy. I have really enjoyed it in other games. That I just can't wait to see what it's like.
Agreed.
What do we need to build? What do we need to have to successfully fish? I don't know. What would happen if you fish off the dock as opposed to go out on your boat? Does your boat need to get outfitted with anything to make you a better fisher?
And I'm curious to know if there's going to be more uses for fish in general.
How was
like integrated into the cooking system?
The cooking system and fish integrated?
Well, I know that there's some recipes that take fish, but I don't think that there's that many.
Not any major ones?
I don't even know. I haven't gotten enough into the cooking system to know, to be honest.
Maybe, and if there isn't, I'm pretty sure that the cooking system was created so that it would be very not difficult to create more recipes for it. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, so with that, Tich, she's impacted all of us if you've ever played Wurm, whether you like it or not. Whether you knew it or not. And it was a surprise that it was definitely a surprise to hear the news that
So do you have drink left in your glass there?
I have a little tiny bit of drink left, so
here's to you, Tich.
As anybody's holding a glass, let's all do it together. Here's to you. That pretty much ends my drink right there, and yours as well. So yeah, I don't know if we want to get in. I had one more subject that I think would fit really nicely into this. Because, I mean, Tich, everybody here, we're all struggle. We all love this game so much. And yet we struggle with trying to get friends or people that you know to play this game sometimes. So in particular, I know I have a friend that I work with who has posed interest in this game. And I don't know if she's watching it right now or whether she's watching this in the future. But if it's quite possible that she is or will be watching this part of the video at some point, what would you say to someone? So here's the backstory. What would you say to someone who's never really played that many games?
So they're not a video gamer.
Not a video gamer. We know how to talk to video gamers. We know how to talk to old MMO players. How would you talk to someone who's never played? Pretty much, that's unfair. The only games that I've heard of that she enjoyed was like a strategy type game.
Okay.
Old strategy game.
Like strategy game.
This is your chance. This is everyone's chance in in the chat right now, everyone in YouTube right now in the comments, your chance to convince someone specifically why they should play Wurm from that point of view. Write up all of your stuff, post it. What would you say right now to someone? Why should they play it? They posed interest. They say, oh yeah, seems like an interesting game to play. How do you get them over that hump?
I do like the breed horses and unicorn foals. That could definitely tug at some interest.
Well, like,
you know, like the whole animal system.
Breed other things.
You know, having pets and breeding, and the horses can get traits that, you know, pass on to the offspring, and it goes into the whole farming system. So if you like that kind of game, you said strategy type game though, like she was never into.
Let's say like a Warcraft type of game.
Okay, like a Warcraft
2 strategy. Not, it wasn't that game, but yeah, something like that.
Okay. So she never got into those like farming. What was that? What was that? Like huge craze of farming sim games.
No.
A crossbreed between Sims and Minecraft. I'd say that's...
Which you've caught yourself in saying, even though that is might work for some players, it would not help.
You don't think so?
This person.
You don't think so? No.
Has not played either of those.
I mean, the game has so much freedom in what you can want to choose to do. So there's so many different ways to play the game. And I think that might...
Like what?
Yeah, I don't know. How do you describe this to a person who doesn't really play games? So...
This is our chance to maybe this is why we don't convince that many players.
I know, it's hard.
Because like, we like it because you won't understand any of the reasons we like it. You can influence a board game of gods. Technically true. What is that, like in parentheses?
Technically true if you play on Epic, where nobody else plays.
So we just need to figure out that one feature that will hook them.
Yeah,
and if that was true, what was everybody's one feature that hooked you?
For me, terraforming was a big one. Did you ever want a job that you paid?
Well, a second job. Play Wurm. Maybe it would be the community. So maybe Muse is correct. It's a medieval simulator. Let's see, a survival simulator where a lot of players are playing for the same goal, and therefore you can meet a lot of players. You can meet a lot of people.
And they're people. The community in Wurm is really helpful in the sense that, you know, because everybody knows what the newbie experience is like and how hard it is for a new player to get into the game. There's always this feeling of like if you meet a new player, you just want to help them along, you know, give them lots of advice, or, you know, if they need any help with anything, you know. So the community is really good with that sort of thing.
So it's a game where your destiny is in your own hands. If that means anything, you can do whatever you want. If that means anything, you can start off with nothing and then build your empire around you.
You know, one thing that I think that this game has that a lot of games don't have, and that's that sense of accomplishment that you get at the end of a big project. The pride and the, you know, just all the blood and sweat that goes into the effort that you put into doing something in this game. And at the end of it all, you look at it and it's just so, you know, there's just so much satisfaction that you can get from the hard work that you put in. And, you know, it's some things are really hard. You have to really think about them and plan them out. And when you do it correctly, it pays off. And yeah, there's not really many other games out there that give you that sense of satisfaction.
Maybe I'll end with this, and everyone keep writing all your stuff. I love the thing about community. And of course the thing about launching a dragon's corpse. The first time that we went to a big event, we met so many people. We went to the Impalong on Independence.
Right.
That one year we filmed some of it. I had not gone to one before. And just the sheer amount of players that were around us for the 3 or 4 days that we were there. And like we recorded the Deal or No Deal, which was great.
Right.
It was fun.
Gumbo's
but that's not what I remember most.
Okay.
I remember sitting in the carpenter's area, imping everyone's tools and giving the tools to these new players, right? Giving like these high level tools to them and talking to them and giving them advice. I remember we randomly decided, let's create 4 what is it called? Colossi.
Right. The community there was like,
then we did it.
Was it only 4? I kind of remember it being like a lot more than that.
4 or 5. Okay. I don't know, something like that. Then we did it. We spent the time. We had the bricks, and a number of us sat around building them, chatting, talking about the game, where we came from, all that stuff. It was almost like a big festival of just people that it felt like people came from all over the land to come to this one thing, even though it's just a video game. But it felt like we could talk about our experiences with each other that were similar experiences, but in different parts of the world. And because they were in different parts of this Wurm land, we all had similar but very different starts to our Wurm careers, to our Wurm life. And it was just the camaraderie and that I remember the most. And then the second Impalong, sort of the same sort of thing happened, where you just you collect, not collect, that's the wrong word. Where those instances, in real life where something happens, you go to some event, and that one singular event, you get a ton of memories. You don't remember what happened a week before that. You don't remember what happened the week after that. Is that those moments happen in Wurm a lot.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
A lot more than any other game I have ever played. And they can happen as much as you want, because things are happening in this game that you can be a part of that you will remember forever. And if you want to be a part of that sort of thing, this is a great game for you. I don't know if I gave that justice, but that's what I remember in Wurm the most. That's what I take from Wurm as a game over any other game.
Speaking of Impalongs, there's a couple coming up. And I'm interested in heading, my tunes over there for at least a little bit of the festivities.
Where are they? They're on Xanadu. There's one. Okay,
yeah, there's one on Xanadu.
Is this the Impalong I was thinking? But it was like the south.
Let me see here. It's the one that I'm thinking of that's happening really soon is Kappa's first Luna Impalong. This is happening November 11th, so that's today. It's ending November 17th, which is, it's like a week long. So
17th. So that's next next Saturday. It's not going to go until the 18th.
Yeah.
So anyway, talking about memories that will last a lifetime. Here's one right now that you can go to.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone, just go to the post, go to the forums, check it out. If you have the time, I definitely recommend doing it. Even if you're okay. So I found that if you're a new player and you felt, I'm too new, what am I going to get out of this festival? I know nothing. I don't have any tools. I don't have anything. Go to this event. Talk to people. This is your time to get to know people.
What if I'm too addicted to working on my deed?
If you're too addicted, I could take a break and go to the Impalong. 100% recommend that.
Yeah.
The deed will always be there when you get back.
Yeah.
Always be there. Farm your tiles and just get out.
Impalongs are definitely worth it.
If you have the time.
Yeah.
Impalongs, any event. I've had the most amount of those memories happen from this game just by going to those events.
Right.
Anyway, I think that's pretty much.
All right,
that's pretty much what I want to say about this game. But
so let's see where we are in terms of what we've done. Like I'm currently making mortar. I've made 2 batches of mortar now, knowing that I'm pretty much think I'm settled on redoing all the walls. So I'm gonna need a ton of mats, and I'm kind of thinking I probably am gonna order a bunch of mats sometime soon, because making them all is just gonna take way too long.
Yeah, especially if you're wanting to do that. Yeah.
So are there any mats that you can think of that you might want or need?
I'd like some dye.
Oh, okay. What colors? Because I'm gonna, I could probably make some dye.
Can you just make me? I'm thinking either brown.
Okay.
Yeah, just brown. Give me some brown.
So as you can see, all I've done so far is I put up the openings all over the place, and I bashed the walls that I need to bash. I'm probably going to end up having to bash all of the outer walls on my floor so that I can replace them with the colors that I want. But I'm going to go up the ramp here and see what you've been doing.
You're gonna sneak in to see what I've been doing here. Eh?
Sneak peek here. Am I on the right spot?
Not that much.
Okay. So, not much back here. Looks like you put on 2 planned walls.
A lot of plans, yes.
A lot of plans. Okay.
And ideas circulating through my head.
Looks like you're going to have a hallway this way. This is your hallway?
That is correct.
And of course a wooden portcullis. You were saying how much you wanted to use a wooden portcullis.
Oh, so badly.
And here's the statue of Libla. It ended up being slate. That's so cool.
Yeah. That's going to be one of the centerpieces.
I'm going to have to work on getting me some fancy decorations. Yeah, you got a birdcage. You know, it would be nice to have the ability to put different birds in here. Like, you know how they have pheasants? There's pheasants in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also the male chickens. What other birds are in the game? Is there really anything else?
Chicken, roosters, pheasants.
Pheasants, yeah. We should get parrots in the game. Or like hawks or something.
Something that just goes inside of that.
Now I am curious. Can I place this? Oh, yeah. There is no room.
One thing that you can't do is you cannot place it on top of... I tried that already.
Yeah, on the table?
Yeah, I already tried that. It's a no-go.
It's too big, yeah.
Yeah, that's okay.
So are your plans to keep the floors the same? I know these floors were in before. Or did you change these floors?
I did not change them. I'm just going to keep them the same.
Okay.
What am I going to do in total? I'm not. I'm just playing it by ear. But it'll turn out great.
It'll be fun. Here's a good point. 3, 4, 5, 6 is mentioning that there's also female players, and that's one thing I think that this game has more of compared to most other games, and that is female players.
So I would say I would agree depending on which kind of games that you came from.
Okay, maybe The Sims probably has more female players.
just like our gaming history, we seem to have played in games where there was already lots of female players.
Right, there were lots of female players, but this game seems to have a higher proportion than most others, especially for an MMO sandbox survival type game.
Do you think there wasn't that many in EQ?
I mean, they existed, they were there.
There was quite a few,
but I would say that the proportion was still largely male.
Or how about the Realm?
There were lots of female players in the Realm.
It just seemed like the games that we were playing had a good ratio of female players. But I can see the point if you were playing,
CSGO.
other kinds of games or other kinds of genres, then yeah, the Wurm would be completely different. And of course, yeah, gaming culture. The gaming culture has completely changed. I don't know if I could consider myself part of the gaming culture anymore. Even though we play games like all the time, it's kind of a strange situation, actually.
It is interesting that this game, and there's the Absorbix saying that this game doesn't have black skin color. It is interesting that that wasn't added in when they added in the new models.
Maybe an avatar update. A Tich style avatar update.
We can now look like trolls.
Yeah, 15 years ago was mostly male nerds, eh?
Yeah.
15 years. See, that's what I would have said 15 years ago. That exact same comment. 15 years ago, I would have said, yeah, 15 years ago, it was mostly male nerds.
Is that right?
Because now when you think 15 years, it seems like a long time. But really, it was just, I don't know.
You know what? You know why? That's because we're getting old.
Past the millennium.
We are getting old. Oh, most players.
Look at how old we are. We're like, oh, look at our wrinkles.
I know we look back and we're saying, well, 15 years ago was only 2003. That wasn't that long ago.
Well.
Yeah, there's probably some people playing Wurm that were born in 2003.
Yeah.
Hey, Ultimate Savior.
Oh, there he is, Ultimate Savior. There's a youngin. We're talking to you, youngins. Do I have my phone on me? I do have my phone on me. But we pretty much come to the end. This is what we've done. This is what we're doing. We are creating. I mean, we're going to continue to create these different floors. We're going to start. I think I'm going to finish the walls soon enough, maybe in the next week or two, and then finally get to the actual thing that we wanted to, which was the decorating part. So
I'm curious to know how yours is all going to pan out here.
Lots of bookshelves. I'm not sure yet, but I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching our kind of Tich retrospective, and she really did change the game for the better for all of us. And yeah, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Keep on worming, everyone, just like we all do, and see you in the next episode.
Right.